In January 2011, Representative John Keenan of Salem, Massachusetts, submitted House Bill 1055, an act relative to childhood immunizations. Currently in the state, medical and religious exemptions exist. This legislation would add parent choice to those options. The following are recordings of testimony given on June 28, 2011, in support of House Bill 1055.
Edward Jenner, Jonas Salk, Louis Pasteur. These were all inventors of the amazing vaccines that helped stop the spread of deadly diseases. These were great inventions created with greater intentions. However, I am sure these inventors would not be impressed by the fact that children are being denied the right to attend school because of their innovations. My name is Amaya and I am 10 years old. I am here to share the experience as the sibling of a vaccine-injured autistic child.
In support of House Bill 1055, we didn't want to inundate you with testimony, so we just wanted you to see that there was lots of other concerned citizens here.
In case you were wondering, the yellow feathers are canary feathers, or symbolic of canary feathers, because we are representing the canaries in the coal mine, the children whose voices have been silenced by chronic disease and injury.
My name is Allison Chapman, and I have 3 beautiful children, all of whom have had some various reaction to vaccines.
My name is Dr. Janet Levitin, and I come to speak to you today as a clinician. I've been a pediatrician since 1982, and I've had
My name is Mish Michaels. I've worked as a broadcast meteorologist in the Boston television market for almost 2 decades. I'm no longer storm chasing these days. I'm chasing around a happy and healthy 4-year-old.
Here, my name is Erin Williams, and unlike a lot of people in this room, my child is not autistic. My child does have 5 of the contraindications and precautions that the CDC outlines for vaccines.
My name is Cynthia Moore, and I am a former executive, former special education advocate, and currently a disabled person. I'm also the parent of a 12-year-old child who has autism.
So I'm Dr. Richard Deef from Northeastern University. I'm a neuropharmacologist, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you about some of the research that we've done.
From within my news department at WBZ, I began to present the scientific research that was current and recent and new to news management. I also began to present them stories of vaccine-damaged children that I had come across in my scientific investigations. What I was told time and time again is that there is no story, that the science is settled, that there's no reason to present stories of this nature on TV because simply these are fringe stories. This is not representing the masses. And to me, it was surprising because I thought the media was supposed to be a voice of the people, and clearly at that point in my newsroom, it was not acting as a voice of the people.
Each time he got a shot, he got another fever, his issues got worse.
When I was in my residency, I saw a baby die of sudden infant death just within hours after having been vaccinated. This is an event I saw take place 2 more times in my early medical career.
Since 1989, there are records of 42 children from Massachusetts that have died around their vaccinations. 98% of them were trying to receive a school-required vaccination. Nearly 90% died within the first 10 days, a third dying within the first 24 hours.
My oldest daughter went into convulsive-like breathing episode within 1 hour of her vaccines at only a few months old.
I too am affected by the vaccines I received, and as a result of which I have severe asthma and allergies.
This year alone, 120 Massachusetts children have had severe reactions. 47 ER visits, 11 hospitalizations, 1 child spending 60 days in the hospital with life-threatening complications of cardiac arrest and cerebral hemorrhage.
Fevers should have made me realize that vaccines are not right for everyone and that my kids clearly were in that category. But unfortunately, I had to witness my son's reactions turn into absence seizures, GI pain, food allergies, no sleep, change in personalities. It often seemed like he was high or high on drugs or something. He just was altered.
This is Ryan, hours after his MMR, the last day that he was a neurotypical child.
15 months, we got his MMR. I remember him not sleeping that night, crying and waking up with a very toxic smelling diaper. I also remember 48 hours later, he had a 105-degree temperature. 3 days after that, he had a full body rash. He's still no sleep. Toxic diapers were non-stop. I lifted up his shirt to see a midsection rash all over him. He started staring episodes, which we later realized were absence seizures.
This is Holden wearing a helmet because he has a seizure disorder. And to add insult to injury, one of his seizure meds made him worse.
At 18 months, we discussed some of the changes, but his gross motor skills were still really good, so we gave him his 18-month shots. The next day, he stopped calling me Mommy. He stopped wanting to be in the same room with his father, and he stopped following his sister around. By 2, everything was gone.
And this is Nicholas, Allison McNeil's son. Explosive diarrhea within hours of his 15-month vaccines.
One thing he's able to tell me and his teachers every day: head hurts. Head hurts. Head hurts. Children's Hospital, please.
Milk allergy. Milk proteins exist in DPT. The influenza and the H1N1 vaccines, as well as MMR, also have eggs in them.
Food allergies affect 1 in 12 children. That's about 8% of the population. 30% of those 42 dead Massachusetts babies had a confirmed or probable food allergy, a 4-fold increase over the normal rate of food allergies.
Because, again, the aluminum is a poison. It's incompatible with life.
Children, formaldehyde, mercury, ethanol, aluminum, and phenol.
And vaccines themselves have many of the substances that I'm allergic to, and unfortunately, my children also have food allergies as well. The food labeling laws do not apply to vaccines.
Here, 12 studies published that show that children with autism have a decrease in their blood levels of the antioxidant. It's called glutathione. This is not. How would somebody end up with a problem with not enough antioxidant, and how could it lead to autism? Well, as it turns out, vaccines and the vaccination process, but also in particular the so-called adjuvants in vaccines that make them work better, things like aluminum, cause a decrease in antioxidant. That's how they make the vaccines work better, is by causing antioxidant effects at the sites of vaccination, and these end up being systemic results as well.
2011, there was a paper that was published in the PACE Environmental Law Review. It's in the booklets that have been presented to you. It states that the investigation showed that children who are compensated by the U.S. government, there are dozens of them that actually have autism who went through the vaccine court and are being compensated by our U.S. government.
Most of the epidemiology out there will not ever pick up the subset of children that will react to these vaccines.
Each of the individuals that get vaccinated, they have responses each time they're vaccinated, and those are cumulative, but vaccine safety does not require cumulative testing, and even the testing for single vaccines is very limited in terms of their safety. So vaccine, good concept. Is it ideally pursued right now? I don't think so, and I think there are limits that we have to understand and know about in order to have the right balance between their benefits and their risks.
It is a vast and uncontrolled human experiment on a generation of children.